Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. And how do you do? Ooh, ooh. Okay, so I thank my God for choosing me this morning to wake up and rise on this day that I will never, ever, ever see again. I'm not going to rush giving my God the honor, the praise, the glory, the hallelujah, the worship, and most importantly, the acknowledgement. So you see, things are a little different because some things have changed since yesterday to today. However, I thank God that He chose me, you, them, us, we to rise this morning so that we can be of service to others. Okay. And I'm not going to be here long because I have another assignment, and that is taking my granddaughter to the train station. So let's get right to the topic today. No, well, maybe we'll just concentrate on some announcements, okay? And we'll see where we go. All right. So the first thing, y'all know, this is, of course, Free to Hope, from Recovery, Emerge, Empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. For 34 plus years, God has prepared me to sit before you today. All right. Now the other who that? Oh shit. I mean, the other exciting news that I have. Oh, now y'all got to excuse me. Y'all know I'm transparent. I got some strangers in my house. That's family, and I'm so used to by myself. He just scared the shit out of me. But anyway, so y'all know I'm transparent and authentic. As a matter of fact, the gentleman that just scared me, my son. I'm gonna call him my son. Let me see. If I'm 69 and he'd be 53, can I call him my son? I don't know, but his name is Don Thomas, right? And his wife Lyric and the beautiful 6-year-old Legacy are here, and they're here because of what the late Benjamin Trimby Brown had asked that we carry on his legacy. So I have been talking about it, y'all know, for the last few months, and reality has come to fruition. And they strolled in here about four something five this morning. I jumped out of bed and and ran downstairs. And y'all know when I'm in my house, I have to remember I got company now, so I can't run around my house like I used to. So y'all know what that means, right? So anyway, I am just so happy that the relaunch of Community Communications Corporation is started. It has started before, but we are relaunching with the players that's going to make this event. No, that's going to make this happen for us. And beginning in the state of Delaware, you know what Trent used to do, and then we're going to talk about other things. So I'm just excited that he is in town with new ideas, new visions, and we are meeting tonight with the two newly elected board members, Tim Qualls from Positive Promotions and James Turner from Reach Gospel Radio. And so we're all meeting today, this evening, to kind of get together and find out how we're going to get this thing relaunched in a spiritual way, but most importantly, in a productive way so that we can let you know what's going on. Okay. So that's that announcement. The other is the daily reflection for today. All right, so let me give you a few minutes of that. Okay, Edwina, slow down because you're rushing. Okay, but that's okay. I decided to relocate my video podcast location because of the light. But guess what? I ain't got to worry about that. The man who knows it all is going to get my stuff together so that I can be before you professional, take out the echo in the background and take out the flashing in and out lights. But guess what? As long as you can hear my voice, I don't care how I look. Y'all know that already, right? All right, so let's concentrate on the reading for today. Now, many of you know because of my journey in Alcoholics Anonymous and participating in a 12-step spiritual program with spiritual principles, tools, and resources to apply to all earthly matters, okay? And so the reading for today, it says for October the 1st, 88 Daily Reflections, lest we become complacent. And our co-founder writes, it is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. We are headed for trouble if we do, for alcohol is a subtle foe. This comes from the Big Book, page 85. And the person in recovery shares his experience by saying, when I am in pain, it is easy to stay close to the friends I have found in the program. Relief from that pain is provided in the solutions contained in AA's 12 steps. But when I am feeling good and things are going well, I can become complacent. To put it simply, I become lazy and turn into the problem instead of the solution. Oh, I can't wait to dissect this baby. He goes on to say, I need to get into action to take stock. Where am I and where am I going? A daily inventory will tell me what I must change to regain spiritual balance. Admitting that I find within myself to God and to another human being keeps me honest and humble. And so, because of this reading, lest we become complacent in any kind of life situations or journey, right? Once we set a goal and we obtain it, there's times when the motivation begins to die, the momentum begins to slow down, and therefore we become complacent. So that energy that we had in the beginning to start something begins to fizzle because we are now got lazy, as it says, sitting on our behind. They call it laurels, but we sitting on our behinds, and we don't lost interest to some extent. It takes it really takes a special person given the gift from God to keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And Don Thomas is one of those people. Man, listen, he came off the road, got lost and everything, and the wife's upstairs sleep, the baby sleep, and guess what? He can't sleep. So he come down and ask for the coffee because his mind is going. He is so pumped up about relaunching CCC and everything that it will do, has done, and what it will continue to do. So he is motivated. He's energized. If he could take his head off his shoulder, he'd probably pick it right back up because that's how he is, right? And so the same thing with me and my recovery. Y'all know I go to my meetings every day. For the past 34 plus years, I make my AA meeting every day. And because I do not want to give my disease of alcoholism, it is a disease that is incurable and fatal. So by me continuing to do what has worked for the last 34 years, why wouldn't I do the same thing and improve my spirituality based on the principles, tools, and resources that are at my feet? As long as I pick them up, I can pick them up. But if I don't use them and apply them and practice them on my daily walk, then they're useless, right? So I stay motivated and praising my God all day long. If y'all follow me throughout the day, Lord, I thank you. Lord, I love you. Lord, I thank you, right? And then you also know that I go to my AA meetings and I am of service to others in the community. And so I don't have time to be complacent. Now, y'all know I'm transparent and authentic. Now, there's one area of my life that is still unmanageable. And that is there is not a domestic bone in my body. Listen, there's not a domestic bone in my body. And so when Lyric and Don and his and our special legacy came in, they had to step over this and step over that because I'm still trying to get my house in order. And so I have become complacent in an area that needs improvement, right? And so I recognize my assets and I recognize my liabilities. So what areas have I become complacent in? And I just shared with you the main area, and that's where I live. I live by myself for 5 years. My house has been a revolving door for the last 22 years since I've been in this house. And so listen, I'm by myself. I don't need to do this and do that and clean this and clean that. I clean it when I get ready, right? That's why I never had no company. But even if I do, I tell them just step over it, move it out the way, throw it on the floor. I'll get it later, right? And so, but there's one area that I'm not complacent in, and that's in my a service to my God who plans and orders my steps, and I yield to the Spirit 99.9% of the time, because my humanness gets in the way and say, you ain't got to do that. I'll put it off today, which is why I'm in this predicament now. I knew they were coming 6 weeks ago. And for the last 3 or 4 days, I want to start moving things around. See what I mean? But I ain't missed a meeting. I haven't missed praising my God. I haven't missed doing my podcast. So I don't want to become complacent in some areas. And so let's dissect this for a few minutes, because I got to get ready to take my granddaughter to the train station. It says, it is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels. How many of y'all can agree with that? It is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action. So if something has been working consistently, particularly your spiritual development, your spiritual experiences, your spiritual awakenings that can produce an unlimited amount of spiritual breakthroughs, right? So what is it in our human nature, that sinful, our sinful human nature, that allows us to get lazy, get complacent, get comfortable, and we lose the momentum? But in one area we need not do that is in our spiritual quest for understanding the truth and to be the light for somebody else. We cannot, we should not, and I'm practicing not to. But I did admit one area that I am complacent. So now, then he says here, we are headed for trouble if we do. So could you imagine if I stopped going to my meetings, if I stopped being of service, if I stopped helping people, do you know where I would be in a matter of time? Back underneath that parked car. Oh, hell to the no. Oh, hell to the no. I practice not giving anything or anybody, one, not for me to go back to drinking, but to put me underneath that parked car ever again. But there's another area that I practice these spiritual principles, tools, and resources, is not letting anything or anybody steal my joy, my peace of mind, my tranquility, my serenity. Yes, I practice that a lot because it will get in the way of my spiritual growth, right? And so I don't want that to happen, because if so, I'll be headed back to where God delivered me from, and I'm only going back to help somebody come forward, okay? Now, the person in recovery, he says, when I am in pain, it is easy to stay close to the friends I have found in the program. Let me tell you, yesterday's meeting was awesome. It was about relationships, and one member wife had died, and another member talked about being in prison when his mother died. Another person talked about the relationship with the baby that's on the way, and how the girlfriend and him are not getting along, And so we were all able to share what we were feeling, the pain, the discomfort, but we were in an AA meeting, 7:30 in the morning, talking about what's going on, but also applying the solutions. And so in Alcoholics Anonymous, that's what we do. We share the pain so that it won't be so overwhelming on one person, because what we try to conceal that needs to be revealed, we cannot heal. You got that? And so I understand that my members in Alcoholics Anonymous is closer to me than my own biological family and some of my friends who are not in this 12-step recovery process. They may think they understand, but they don't. And that's okay, because my God has expanded my family to where I can share honestly, openly, transparently, and authentically, because if I don't, I'm headed in the wrong direction. So yes, in Alcoholics Anonymous, that's what we do. Then he says, relief from the pain is provided and the solution contained in the AA 12 steps. So listen, as we were sharing our pain, right, we also shared about using the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. But it also applies to people. grateful. God, grant me the serenity to change to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the person that I can, and the wisdom to know that that person is me, right? And so yesterday, as an example, I shared with you that AJ was talking about friends, and he shared about it this morning. I had to have a conversation that I told you I was going to have yesterday. I had that conversation, and before we met on business, I said, "Can we pause for a second? I need to express what I'm feeling. I need to share with you what I'm thinking. I need to share with you what has happened so I can get a better understanding. Can we do that first? Because if I don't do that first, I'm going to be in my head." So she said, "Sure." And so we talked about the situation, and guess what? Not that it was a misunderstanding, right? It was that we made assumptions. I made assumptions. She made assumptions. She agreed to the part that she played in it, which she could have did something differently, right? And I accepted the part that I played in it, and so we were able to heal that relationship before we can conduct business. How many people can do that? Why go into a situation when you have resentments and anger and all that kind of stuff, and you look at that person all cockeyed and whatnot? You can't get to the goal, and the goal is spirituality and how we can apply spiritual principles to any and all earthly matters. Okay, so I'm proud of myself. And then it says here, but when I am feeling good and things are going well, I can become complacent. To put it simply, I become lazy and turn into the problem instead of the solution. Can y'all relate to that? How many of y'all can say, once I reached the goal and it was doing good and I was feeling good, I can lean back and sit back and act like, okay. And slowly but surely, it chips away at those goals and objectives that you work so hard. Okay. So that's why we have to practice being present, being present. And a lot of times I would say, if you want to be present, pause, feel yourself breathe. Hear yourself breathe. Come back to reality. Where are your feet? Your feet is right here, but my mind is in 1,000 places, right? And if you don't watch where you are, you might step on a nail or something, okay? I know I'm being a little dramatic, but that's the reality of not being present. Okay, I'm going to close with this. Hold on. Shyla, you ready? All right, so my granddaughter is ready, and I'm going to say, I love you. You love me. We are one big family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? Hey, my Kenesha, my daughter is watching. Okay, I got to go. Somebody got a train to catch, okay? If it's God's will that you are here tomorrow, I am here tomorrow, and I will see you then. Until then, be of service to others, right? Watch in areas of your life, like for me with this house stuff, right? Being complacent. Maybe now that I got my family members in here, I get a little better because they want to help. And so I just love life. Can't you tell? Your grace and mercy brought me through. I'm living this moment because of you. I want to praise you and thank you too, for it was your grace and your mercy that brought me through. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, and now I see. Be blessed. I got to go. I got to go.